What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into another podcast episode of Sixers basketball with me, play by play with JJ. My name is Jason Joseph. I'm not play by play with JJ, but you understand my point here. What's going on, guys? I'm so fired up, man. That was quite a win tonight by the Sixers team. You're down by 17 points in this ball game. Okay, you're down by 11 with 6:55 left to go. Actually, it was 6:05 left to go in the game. And you have the balls to come out and steal that game from the Grizzlies. That is so impressive. And the fact that they were just able to do it with Tobias Harris and James Harden coming up large. Are you kidding me? My gosh, man. I feel like I could literally run through a brick wall right now because I'm just so fired up after this win. This was a gutsy win. It was that type of a game where the Grizzlies just had full control of this ball game. And the Sixers had no business being in this game in the first half. Okay, Desmond Bane had 22 points in the first quarter. Everything was going his way. They were holding Ja, which was really important. But when Desmond just got going, finally in the second quarter, they made that transition and they were able to, start to cool him off a little bit. But I won't give full credit to the Sixers defense because he sat out for about 6 minutes or so. But he looked like he just got out of rhythm. And then in that second half, the Sixers shut him down and they shut John Morant down too. Those two stars combined only had 4 points in this game in the second half. And a lot of the credit has to go to the defense. Now, Desmond Bane had some open looks, especially towards the end of the game. When the shot clock was winding down and they were down 108 to 105, and he had two opportunities to try to cash in from the three at the top of the key. And he ended up getting his own offensive rebound, but he just wasn't able to hit it. And I think that has to do with the Sixers defense just being a menace to him, even though he had two wide open looks to try to cash in and wasn't able to do so. But my point is that they just had all the momentum in that fourth quarter. And it was kind of like the the Grizzlies had something going for them, and the Sixers just took it right away from them. They really did. Joel was incredible in that fourth quarter. He was shooting so poorly from the field, but this is exactly why you got to give him the ball down low. Because if he can get fouled and make free throws, which he is so capable of doing, this team can go as far as he does. And tonight really just went to show that he was a menace in that second half. The rebounding was incredible. It felt like he had 30 rebounds, even though he had 18. That's exactly why you won the ball game. And James Harden, my goodness, man, where the heck did that three-point shooting come from? I mean, he's a good three-point shooter, like, don't get me wrong, but in the guts of the game, okay, you're kicking it out to Tobias Harris. Harris is left wide open for a three. I don't know why he's taking like four dribbles and he doesn't know like what to do with the ball. But Harden comes right over to the rescue. And literally, when they're down by 4 points, he comes right over into the far corner. Desmond Bain has a hand in his face, and he makes it. He just makes it. Like, what? That was ridiculous. I'm like calling it in real time, and I felt like I was playing 2K. That's how incredible that shot was. My gosh, man. Talk about a broken play where you're just able to cash in and make the most out of it. That saved the game. If it weren't for that shot, the Sixers would have lost. Let's be real with ourselves. This was a gutsy win. It was that type of a game where it felt like it was a playoff atmosphere. Okay, you're coming off of 8 days of rest, according to Austin Krell, who I have nothing but respect for what he does for the Bluecoats and with the Sixers. Tobias Harris said that the practice that they had the day before, which was yesterday, wasn't so good. They didn't have such a great practice. And the fact that you when you're down by 15 points going into that second quarter, you're able to just come up large and you're like literally down by 11 with 6 minutes left in this game. That's just incredible. I'll tell you who else had a really good game. I could literally tell you when I look at the starting lineup, okay, I can literally tell you like one great moment from everybody that I saw in this game. Even DeAnthony Melton, who had no points, there were some times where I thought that he played really good defense on Ja Morant. That's how good he was because Ja in that first half was like 0 for 8 from the field. And he had no points in that fourth quarter either. Every time Doc put him on Ja Morant, it was just like Morant had a hard time of just like squeezing by him. And the layups that he was able to put up, it was just contested and it was just unbelievable the amount of defense he was able to play. I can't even say it. I can't even put into words how great that was. But let's go to Tobias Harris because this dude, he's been ice cold. And the fact that this man in that second half was able to put up 13 points, he had 9 points at the end of the game with about 4 minutes left to go. And he was shot 4 for 7 from 3. That is a weapon. One of them was actually a great pass by Embiid, who was being double teamed, and literally it was a no-look pass to Tobias Harris. He kicked it out right to him. And Harris was just like, this is easy for me. All I just got to do is just shoot the ball. And bullseye. That's what happened. Now, Tyrese did struggle from shooting the 3 ball tonight. I know I'm like all over the place, but that's just because like my heart's racing right now. Like I feel like it's going to come out of my chest because that's how fired up I am. This was just an incredible win. Tyrese Maxey. 16 points for him. Okay. He had a nice little run where when they were down by 11 points, he put up 4 straight points for this team in that fourth quarter. He had like a reverse layup and he also made a floater. And those little things actually really helped the Sixers go on that run once that timeout was called by Doc Rivers. And I thought that was really important because that little spurt gave the Sixers a little bit of life. And with basketball, it's all about momentum. And it's a game of runs. And I felt like what Tyrese Maxey did to provide that sort of a spark, it actually helped them, go on that run. And that was sort of a catalyst moment for him. And so even though the 3-point shot wasn't there tonight, he's going to keep shooting. And of course, like he's going to make his shots. Tonight he was 0 for 6, but I thought he did just a really good job at attacking. I also really liked how he was handling the ball a little bit more. And James Harden was a little bit more off the ball. That was an interesting sequence, that I really thought that Doc did a good job at coming up with. I've always wanted to see Tyrese Maxey handle the ball a little bit more, but I also understand he's not a true point guard. But I thought he did some things really, really well. They must have heard me after that first quarter because the ball movement was stale in that first quarter. It looked like it was a lot of ISO. They weren't playing team basketball. It was just about let's just give Joel the ball and let's just try to ISO on players. And finally, towards the end of the second quarter, they started to have really good ball movement. And I thought that in the third quarter, everybody got their touches. And that was really great. PJ Tucker had a big 3. How about PJ Tucker with that offensive rebound? Like, that can't go unnoticed either. That rebound led to a Tobias Harris 3-pointer that gave the Sixers the lead. That was a big rebound because James Harden missed that floater, and the ball ended up, I don't know how when I'm like watching it in real time, I didn't know how Dylan Brooks didn't get the rebound, but PJ Tucker just came right over there, right in that far Well, it was like it bounced like all the way towards pretty much towards the top of the key. And PJ Tucker was just right there and he like dove right for the ball and he got it right for the Sixers. And then Tobias Harris just had a wide open three and he nailed it. That was all thanks to PJ Tucker. It's those little things that I look for that really do matter when it comes to playoff time. This was a playoff type of a game. And I took a lot of positives away from this one. Okay, the Cavaliers game, I understand that they're the Cavs, but they almost blew a big lead. And even though they got the win and that was really important, I felt like this was the type of game where I expected them to just come out flat and also to just be flat throughout the rest of the game. And that's not what happened. They shut me up and they proved me wrong. And I'll tell you what, Doc Rivers deserves a lot of credit for this. I've been so hard on Doc Rivers as a coach, but the lineups tonight were impressive. Paul Reed had some really great he had a couple of nice plays. He had a nice block. Even though he got into a little bit of foul trouble, I thought that he had quite an impact as well in this game. But the starters did their job. And I was really impressed with Tobias Harris, with the clutch shooting he had, and James Harden. And Joel. Joel was 7 for 25 from the field today. Okay. And yet he was also 0 for 5 from 3. If you were to tell me that Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey would go 0 for 11 from 3, I would have told you that the Sixers would have lost this game by probably 25 points. But that wasn't the case. Because you know why? This defense clamped down on Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. This defense held them to 4 points in that second half. Do you know how hard that is to do? Do you understand how great Ja Morant and Desmond Bane are as a backcourt duo? They're arguably the best backcourt duo in the NBA right now. Ja was quiet. Every time D'Anthony Melton was on him, it was like Ja just couldn't be found. Like, I'm like looking and I'm like, where the heck is Ja? Gutsy. Impressive. Outstanding. And hopefully this can continue into Saturday because Saturday's game is going to be a test for me too. They got to play very well against the Celtics. I'm going to have all eyes on the defense and what this team is going to have to do against the Celtics. They're really just going to have to try to just limit Jason Tatum, but they can't get psychologically owned. That's going to be the thing that I'm going to be looking for. Can James Harden continue to be a dog? He was spectacular in that fourth quarter. 6 for 9 from 3. I'm still like replaying over and over and over again in my head that broken play where Tobias Harris had a wide open 3 and there was a great pass into the far corner to Harris. And I don't know, I didn't know like what he was doing. I think he was trying to like go to the rim. I understood that, but then Bane just comes like right on him and then he gets double teamed with Jackson Jr. and James Harden just comes running right towards the rescue. And with a hand in his face, he still made it. And it was a 1-point deficit. Like, man. That was iconic to me. This game was a lot of fun to call. It was back and forth at the end. And the NBA, the reason why I love the NBA so much is because there's a lot of drama. And sometimes, like, within the blink of an eye, you just don't know what's going to happen in this game. There were a lot of games like that tonight. The Boston Celtics against the Indiana Pacers, that game was back and forth, and I didn't even know if Boston was going to be able to pull it out, and they did. How about there was another game. How about the Cavs and the Denver Nuggets, man? Like that game was really good. Another game that was really close. This is why I love the NBA. It's because there's so many storylines, and while it's not like just a team sport, the stars stand out. I feel like that mesh is so good for sports, and that's what makes it fun. But it also, like, gets your heart racing too. I'm not gonna lie. But, yeah, so Harden and Embiid, they combined to score 58 points in this game. Joel was so active on the glass tonight. He had 19 rebounds. I bet you he probably heard what Chuck had to say about him, and he stepped it up big time. And even though he struggled from the field, it didn't stop him from going to the foul line 17 times. He can get you in so many ways, man. He's unstoppable. I still don't know. I still don't know how he wasn't named an all-star starter. Not that I really care about it because honestly, at the end of the day, I don't, but this dude is just unstoppable. He is so dominant. And we're going to miss him when he's gone. We really are. The one other thing I wanted to say too. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So Desmond Bean had 21 points in that first quarter. After that, he only had 4 points. That was it. That was all he had. Crazy. Crazy stuff. All right, so we're going to be back at it on Saturday night. The next game will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and that'll be a fun game. I wanted the Sixers to try to gain some ground tonight, but that wasn't the case. The Celtics were able to pull it out by the skin of their teeth, and the Sixers, well, it was important for them to win this game. This was a test, and as I said, Saturday's game is going to be a test too, and I'm fired up. Like, after this win, it's just incredible what this team can do. They are capable of going far in the playoffs. If they play basketball like they did in that second half, and Doc just doesn't let his ego get into the way and actually utilizes the rotations correctly, this team can literally go to the finals. I just have questions about the coaching, and I need to see the pick and roll offense as much as possible, and I need to see everybody else get their touches. That's all I got to see. And if I see that from a night to night basis, I'll tell you right now that this team can literally go to the finals. I just don't see it enough to my liking. But I'm proud. I'm proud of this club. I'm proud of Tobias Harris for making those big time free throws. He was 6 for 6 from the line. That can't go unnoticed to me. And James Harden was great. Your big three stepped up tonight. And really, it was your big four because Tyrese Maxey off the bench had 16 points. If that happens, the sky's the limit with this team. All right, that's going to wrap things up here. My name is Jason Joseph. This is Play by Play with JJ. If you're new to my channel, and if you enjoy my 76ers content, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon too, so that way you know when I upload. I appreciate all the love and the support you guys have given me. We're on our way to 100 subscribers, and I am just really proud that for the last 10 weeks we've been able to produce content, even though this week was a very light week because I finished my internship at NFL Films, and also we had a Sixers All-Star break and all that sort of stuff. But we're back in action. Going to be calling more games. We'll be back on Saturday night. We'll also be probably posting a podcast tomorrow. I'll have more information about that, talking about the Phillies and spring training and what that's going to be like in the coming days. And I'm going to just stop babbling. But the point is, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back Saturday night for another Sixers game. I appreciate all the love and the support. You guys are the best. I love you all so much. Have yourselves a great night. And go Sixers, baby. What a win. What a comeback, man. A 17-point deficit, and they erased it against a team that's second in the Western Conference. Love it. Good night, guys. And I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.